Hey orthodontists, how's it going? Keaton Walker here. I'm back with another customer interview. In this one, we're interviewing Lina Baraja from Miles of Smiles in Southern California. It was an awesome interview. Some really great gold nuggets about team building and what to do if you're an office manager. So make sure you share it with your office manager if you're a doctor, or share it with your doctor if you're an office manager. Thanks so much for being here. If at any point during the video you want to sign up for a call with a member of my team, just go up in your browser, type in orthopatients.com, and you can book a call with us at any time. Thank you so much. And without further ado, let's get into the interview. All right. Welcome, Lina. My name is Keaton Walker. This is Lina. She's with Miles of Smiles in California, Southern California, all over, right, Lina? And what cities are you?
We are in Corona, French Valley, Murrieta, as well as in Temecula and Hemet.
Nice. Awesome. So, and the number of locations you have, remind me what that is again?
We have 4 locations.
Nice. Really cool. But didn't you just mention like 5 cities? How can you have 4 locations?
Because French Valley and Murrieta, our office is right in between in the border.
Nice.
We're literally land right on the border of it. So
smart. You're going to be in all the different cities that way. That's great. And it looks like I was just looking at numbers and kind of like when we started and everything. So it looks like your start date was February 8th of this year, 2021, correct?
Correct.
Nice. And tell us a little bit about how you found OrthoPatients and where you were before, like what made you keen to sign up with us?
So I actually had been following your YouTube page. Nice. And I've seen all your videos. So I would pretty much save all the information I needed for when an opportunity arose. Nice. I was an assistant for many years, and I became a supervisor for a couple more years. And once I became office manager, well, now it was my job to make sure we create much more. So I was waiting for that opportunity, and it came. Awesome. So the first thing I thought of was OrthoPatients, because I followed you on YouTube. And I saw all the things. So I did that, and I wanted to make sure we needed to make our presence more known on social media. Yeah. So that's where I noticed where we were lacking.
Got it. So what were you doing before on social media, and what did you feel like you needed? And how did we fit into that? Was it just you needed to post more, or you knew you needed to be running ads, or both?
Ads. We had nothing going on with ads. I believe we had a doctor try to figure out how to do ads himself with having no experience, not knowing really. Yeah. I mean, we specialize in orthodontics, as you know. So Our doctor has gone to school for many, many years for orthodontics. Don't specialize in social media. So we can straighten teeth every way, but we needed help with that. Awesome. So that's why I wanted ads, and that's
yeah. And then there's 2 or 3 doctors.
We have 2 main doctors and then an associate.
Nice. Really cool. And how many employees across all the locations?
About 27.
Wow. And so you started kind of at the bottom as an assistant, and now you're here as the manager over all those locations?
Out of the 2 locations, because now we separated kind of like the offices. So out of the 2 locations for the French Valley and Murrieta with Corona. Awesome.
Really cool. And then who was it that originally started Miles of Smiles, and were you there during that whole ramp up phase?
No. So who started it was Dr. Jurgensen, and he started it, I believe, back in 1993. He started for a while, and he started in Hemet, and then he went to Temecula, and he has 3 people that are still with him from back then. Wow. Yeah. And they're his loyal employees. They're amazing. They're super sweet. They're amazing. And I actually started with Dr. Wattups.
Okay.
And with Dr. Wattups, I started when he had just gotten out of school back in 2012. I've been with him.
Really cool.
And once we merged with Dr. Jurgensen.
Okay. So you've been at Miles of Smiles since 2012. And were you working in ortho before that?
Yes, I've been in ortho since 2006.
Wow, really cool. And so you've kind of worn all the hats, like the assistant hat and the...
I even started I started as a sterile tech, receptionist, went to school, then I did the dental assisting, then registered dental assisting, because in California you have to be a registered dental assistant. Yeah. After I moved up from there, then I was the back office supervisor, and then to where I am now.
Nice. Really cool. And what's been why have you been in ortho so long? How did you get into it originally? What do you like about working in the orthodontic world?
It's so silly. I know a lot of people say it, but I love making a difference in creating the people smile. You don't really notice. One thing is people just saying it, oh, creating a smile. But when you see the people and like their eyes, there's a difference between a smile and then when you're smiling with your eyes and your whole face, like a genuine smile. And that's what we see. And that's what I love about it, making that change and knowing that you can see before and after pictures where when they come in, there's pictures we have to take where you have to almost like force a smile out of them so we can see what we're working with.
Yeah.
So at the end where they can't stop smiling, and at the end, I need a serious picture. We're gonna need to like.
Yeah. Really cool. I actually love that. I mean, that's not something I get to experience every day, right? Because you're actually in there with the patients. We're the ones getting you the patients, but I love that sentiment of like smiling with their whole face instead of just with their teeth, which is what hopefully every patient that goes to an orthodontist, the experience they have at the end, right?
And then we do create such great relationships with our patients. Our patients come back since Dr. Jurgensen's been since 1993. One of his assistants has been with them since then. So their patients have brought their kids, and then their kids have brought their kids at this point now. So it's like a bunch of generations, and it's so sweet to see. Yeah. And then I've already actually now, since I've been with Miles of Smiles and Dr. Baraja since 2012, I've actually started seeing that too, where they're bringing more of their family members, and they'll like try to follow me on social media, and then we just go. I technically, we have 300 something patients. I'm friends with all of them. I can great.
I love it. Yeah, it reminds me. So I grew up in a family business that's been around in my area in Utah for like 30 years. And it's actually a swimming school. So they teach like little kids how to swim. And my mom will be walking in Costco, right? And some, 30, 35-year-old will come up to her and say, "You were my swimming teacher when I was 2 years old." And it's something that I love. I want to stress with doctors. I can't really do it myself, right? Because I'm not there in the practice, but just that integration into the community is so key when it comes to marketing and like just general goodwill towards your practice. When you can build up that long-term reputation and they make, like you said, relationships with you and with the doctors, and then their kids come and their siblings come and their family members come, that's when you've really reached like a moment where there's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, and he talks about kind of that merry-go-round in the park, right? Where you're pushing and pushing. And first of all, it's really, really slow. And then it's a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster. And then eventually you can jump on and just kind of carries you. And I think that's what reputation can do for a practice. And the only way to do that is just building relationships. That's the highest ROI decision or kind of activity that anybody can engage in, because it's just going to pay dividends down the line, which is really, really cool. So what made you, was it just like you coming into your current role at Miles of Smiles that said like, hey, we need to pull this trigger, and you finally had the doctor?
I knew it needed to happen, but I waited for the opportunity to show what I can do with who I knew.
Nice. I love it. And tell us about your experience so far. It's only been a couple months. I was just, before you go, I'm just going to rattle some numbers off here. It looks like we've only spent like a little over $1,000 on ads, 250 conversations, 46 leads, and 23 of those have turned into consults, which is great. So tell us about your experience with the consults, if you've been there, or just generally how you feel like it's gone.
So I actually also had, one of the main things I always thought as being a manager, it's important to know how to do everything. So I actually have been in. If I've recommended you guys, I need to be in there and I need to see what's coming in myself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I actually did sell about 2 cases for them. They came in. It was great. They came in pretty much. I didn't really even have to I don't know how to explain it, sell it. It's kind of like they already knew. Nice. And I just had to present it. And they're like, okay, great. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it.
And what made that difference?
I feel like you had said, maybe certain things So I work a lot with Amy and Therese, and they're both amazing.
Yeah.
Amy and Therese, whenever I call them, they answer, which is such a big thing for me. I hate calling and somebody not answering me right away.
It's the worst, right? Like you've got a busy schedule. Like you've got those 5 minutes to talk.
Yes,
to them, so.
Exactly. So absolutely. And I love that they answer and they're quick to hear me, what I want to get done, and be like, all right, I got it. I'll fix it. I'll do this. I'll do that, or help answer a question so I can understand better.
Yeah.
So I love that and working with them. So I feel like Teresa's done a really great job in maybe through the chat box, answering whatever questions they may have, because I didn't give them permission to say our fees, because that's going to be based case by case, depending on insurances that we are with, and depending on how the case is, depending on the patient, the months, and so forth. So what I did is I kind of toned it down to what made me feel more comfortable. And that was more so giving them what would be a monthly fee. Like, what are they comfortable in their monthly payments?
Yeah.
So those are the 3 options that I gave them. And pretty much the 2 that I actually started myself personally were totally fine with whatever down payment they had to do in order to get that monthly payment. Nice. So when I presented the case, I already had done the math prior, and I just showed them like, okay, this is the fee. This is what I need for your down payment and your month. And then you're going to get your monthly payment just as you had requested. They're like, great.
Nice. That's really cool. So did you actually look at the conversation that they had before you went in?
No, cool. So Therese, what they provide us is a sheet.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to say, it's probably, you can just glance at the Google sheet and see everything.
I glanced at the Google sheet. I've made some changes to the sheets, and I've always let Amy and Therese know, because like I said, I have limited time and there's kind of a little bit more tabs. So I like to keep it all on the booked. So I kind of color coordinate a little bit. I don't know if you see it. I kind of color coordinated a little bit, added another thing to it. So I'm able to see quickly what I'm going to do, what office it is, what's their number, and so forth. And then I'm having Therese actually put in, when she makes my appointment, because she makes the appointments for us, she puts it in, there's a little area for notes, and that's what she just puts in the number, like 189, 169. And my TC or myself will automatically know that's what they want to do for their monthly.
Yeah. Super cool. And do you feel like was it just the price that these people were sold on before? Or do you think they were just like ready to start with you? Did they know about you before the Facebook ad? Did you ask any of those questions?
Yes. So we've actually added some of the other ones. And funny enough, we've actually had some starts that weren't necessarily through the program, but they said, we see you everywhere now.
Yes.
So we know that now.
Yeah. And I mean, it's something that I can't like put that in my sales presentation and say, this is the ROI you're going to get, but it's what most people don't understand is there's this immediate ROI, everything that you can track. And then there's the other side of stuff, which is just the social ROI that nobody can, we know how many eyeballs are on your practice now. And it's so cool to hear like, oh yeah, I saw the Facebook ad like 5 times. So I just thought I'd give you guys a call.
And that's the thing. That's what I got a lot of. So a lot of the patients, like I said, they say that the patients will tell us that they went through this program, and then they'll mention, because Therese doesn't use Therese, she'll use like Ashley or some other name. And she's like, oh, Ashley was so nice. She let me know. I was like, okay. Like, she's amazing.
I love that. And so what about as far as like knowing about orthodontic treatment, do you feel like you had to teach them quite a bit more? Were they already ready?
Well, some we have to teach, but that's our job.
Of course.
And no, they know, some of them knew they wanted to straighten their teeth. That's what they know. They want a better smile. They want to straighten their teeth. And since it's case by case, that's when we come in as being in the field, and we teach them what's going to be best for them, One came in knowing for sure, to our Corona location, knowing for sure she wanted Invisalign. Like, that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, she wanted to do whatever she wanted for Invisalign.
Yeah. And I think what I love about what we do is there's 3%, there's statistics that say 3% of any given market is ready to buy right now. So of all the people in Hemet, Corona, Temecula, Murrieta, 3% of them are ready to get braces. Of the people in the market, right, that are eventually going to get braces, 3% are ready now. And so when what we're doing when we run these ads is we're putting the ads in front of 100% of that market, right? But then 3% of them they're like, oh, I'm ready now, therefore I'm going to go through this chat bot, I'm going to schedule an appointment. And that's why these ads really never run out, because everybody's becoming ready at a different time, which allows you as the office to have some sort of predictability in your marketing. But it also, I just love the fact that, these people are already sold on treatment, or they're already sold on the fact they want straight teeth, just like you said. But it's just a matter of getting in front of them at the right time. And that's the power of ads, right? And they're just out there all the time, which is so cool. Tell me a little bit more about how you schedule, because you have these multiple locations, and typically we work with practices that have 1 to 2 locations max. So you have double that. How has the scheduling worked? Has it been really complicated? And how was the setup process with Therese to get those appointments on your schedule?
So Teresa's done great, because luckily she uses our system. We have Cloud9 Ortho. That's the system that we use. At one point in the very beginning in February, we had actually 6 locations. Now we have 4 locations. So it was a lot more complicated. Yeah. And on top of that, we offer different types of consultation, in person and virtual.
Yeah.
So I set it up because I was able to do personalize it. And what we did is the patient decides, that's one of the steps, which which type of consultation they would like first. So they decide in person or virtual, and then which office they would like to go to. And then all of the 6 locations, and now 4 locations are offered. Nice. And then they decide which one they'd like. And we give them kind of nearest little areas. So they know.
When Teresa's in your software, she can just change the location of that specific consult, correct?
Correct. So when she's in there, she knows she has access, because we have little tabs, kind of like your spreadsheet. There's like a tab for each office. Nice. So she clicks on the office that it belongs to and puts it there. And she schedules the appointment, she schedules the time and everything. So it's great. And then any notations, like I think I was telling you before, there's a little area when you schedule an appointment, and that's where she writes any little necessary notes, because she'll also collect insurance information. Doesn't go and get the insurance benefits, but she'll let us know that the patient has insurance. And if they do have insurance, she will scan the insurance card into the patient's chart. Really cool. So our receptionist will know, okay, they have insurance. Let me go ahead and verify their benefits before the patient comes in.
Awesome. And how have you done? I feel like you've done, from what I've heard, a very good job of integrating, because obviously you're our point person at Miles of Smiles. As far as I know, you're the only person we talk to, but everybody else seems to be really on board. So how have you, tell us about managing your team with our team?
I've kept it open communication from my end to them, but I find it very, very important that I be the only one person to communicate with OrthoPatients. Why? Because I don't, I need to hound it in and keep it focused on what my goal is.
Yeah.
There's different ways of doing it, different things, but I'm trusting what you all have suggested, and it's working. I just have to be patient and look at how it does.
Got it. So your philosophy there is we don't want too many hands in the pot. Like you don't want your whole team talking to my whole team, because then things don't get communicated correctly and we have issues.
Yes. Yes, pretty much. Yes. But I still, though, have an open communication with them. So every time we talk or something, I let my staff know what's going on. So they still feel in the loop. Yeah. I let them express themselves of whatever they want, but I hone in on what is an actual topic that I need to change and what is something that they're just releasing their frustration. Nice. That has nothing really to do with what we're doing.
Yeah. I have to commend you on your communication with your team, because we've noticed the offices that succeed, that's the one thing. I mean, they have a few things in common, but one of them is they talk to their teams. They communicate within the team so that everybody's on board. They know what's going on. And then we're not dealing with like an office manager or a TC or somebody else who's like, what is this? I have no clue what's going on here. And it's way more common than I
always let them know our goal is getting more new patients. So everybody's looking out. Is this because I created an appointment specific that Therese uses, and it's an OP appointment for OrthoPatients. Oh, really? So cool. Like, is that an OP? Is that an OP? Everybody's looking. Is that an OP? Is that an OP? Because everybody wants to help each other out. We all know we get more new patients. That's more income for everybody.
Love that. That's great. So I'd love to dive in specifically I feel like you have a unique vantage point because the other interviews we've done like this have been doctors. Tell us about, I just want to hear your like general life advice for anybody working in ortho, because you've been here so long. Tell us about, what you've noticed that works the best in marketing, that works the best in the consult room, that works the best in working with your team. Just, this is the part that I really feel like could help a lot of people because they can draw on your experience from years in the ortho world.
Yeah. Number one thing, and people say it all the time, is communication, but knowing how to communicate. Every individual has a different way of hearing how something is being said, and knowing how to communicate with your staff, even if you have to take that moment and re-explain it in a different way so a different staff member understands. The whole thing is working together as a team. So if your team is behind you and your team supports you, I have a saying, all for one, one for all. That's my little saying. So I was like, we all work together, we all ride together, then we all are going to go down together if this doesn't work. So we're going to be together for this.
Yeah.
And I find myself sometimes making sure that if I need to communicate differently with one other staff member so they can understand my vision, I will take the time to do it because it's important to have everybody on board.
Love that.
So that's I feel like a very, very important thing. And because then they all end up feeling that connection and that family bond because we spend more time at work than we do at home.
Yeah.
They feel that connection and that wanting to be together and wanting to work hard to make the office grow together.
Yeah.
Do what it takes.
And what I tell, maybe you can comment on this after I say this. What I tell my team is so my first priority is my team's health. So team health is one of our core values here at OrthoPatients, because, if Teresa's having a hard time, or if Amy can't show up to work that day because she's feeling depressed because there's some toxicity within our team, like we're not going to be able to take care of you as our client. And so first and foremost, we have to take care of the team, and then come the clients afterwards, because it has to be that way, right? So how have you noticed, what can you say to that? Have you noticed that your team being cohesive has helped your patients?
Oh yeah, everything. Patients come in, because that even within our office, we had times where it wasn't cohesive. And at that time, I wasn't in a position to do anything about it. So I just saw it as an outsider, and I knew in my head what needed to happen, but I wasn't in the position to do it. So and I'd see it. And now that things have kind of changed, I can pull in any staff member right now and they'll tell you the same thing. If one person is down, just kind of like you said, for whatever reason, it's up to us to all buckle together and work it and help that person that is down right now and just do it. So, and then the main thing is that now that I am the manager, I have to lead by example. So if somebody's down, I'm not going to just make my staff work double harder. I'm going to do it too. They need to see me do it too, because then that's going to motivate them. And that's what we've done sometimes. If a staff member was out sick, and if I had to jump in the back and do the sterilization, or if I had to work a chair, putting on braces and trying to answer a phone or something, guess what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah. They're lucky to have you.
Oh, well, I'm lucky to have all of them.
I love that. So before we move on, I'm pretty much at the end of my questions here. Is there anything else you would say about the experience of working with OrthoPatients that's been good? Anything that you've experienced that you just want to share with other people?
I love that my ads and our face of Miles of Smiles is everywhere. I just love that. And I love how you have really opened our eyes and noticing that ads are not just about, that's one thing you made important. It's not just doing like a regular, what is it called? Stock photo. It needs to be a personal photo, and that's made a difference. And that's what I make sure I'm trying to look at pictures for doctor with a patient or a patient's face or something. And that's what you guys use for ads. And that makes a key difference. And I believe that was I caught that on one of your YouTube videos too.
Yeah. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I crunched the numbers because Tyler, he was kind of like, the stock photos, like it's just easier. Like we don't have to bother the offices for them to send us pictures, and we should just do this. And I went through and I crunched the numbers, and I think it was like 10 times better if you just use a picture of the doctor with a patient, or like the team having fun, or the team, a lot of ones, like it'll be like a local sports jersey, like everybody's wearing that, or a local university. Those types of pictures just do so well, because social media is all about like seeing other real people, right? People don't want to see ads. And so the less like an ad your ad looks, the better it's going to do.
So we're trying to change our website now, because
oh, nice.
I was like, well, this is what OrthoPatients said, and my ads are working. So
yeah. So you're putting more like taking off the stock photos.
Yes. Because I think that we had a model, and then I'm in orthodontics. I've been in orthodontics for many years. So I'm looking at the picture of this model, and I could see her lateral. I'm like,
yeah,
how can she be in the front of our picture if her lateral is like totally intruded? What is wrong? Like, she should not be in our picture. That's not what we're trying to sell, an intruded tooth. No.
Exactly. And the thing is, your differentiator as Miles of Smiles, or anybody's, any office listening to this, your differentiator is that you're different than everybody else, right? Like you have a personality that nobody else has. Nobody can compete with you at being you. And so that's where everyone just needs to double down and take pictures of their own office. Because when I go to an orthodontic website and it's the same stock photo that I just saw on the last orthodontic website, it doesn't make me feel like I'm actually going to get personalized service. So I love that you brought that up. And do you have a system of taking and like posting photos like that in your office?
Yes. So we're actually kind of changing things now, but because we are very, very busy and we wear many, many hats. So I choose at least 1 or 2 days, like a month, or I'm like, we're taking pictures like crazy.
Nice.
I was like, of everything and anything. And then I'll go through it and I'll weed out which ones are good, which ones are not good. And then I have like my own stock photos for whatever I need, but of real life stuff.
Love that. And have you ever brought in a professional photographer to do photos of the team, or just kind of follow you around for a day?
I actually am going to be doing that tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Like, it's so cheap. You can go on, if anybody's here listening to this, you can go on Airbnb. It's probably a little bit more expensive in California, but I've done photo shoots for like $100 off Airbnb experiences. And the photos are incredible. They get back to you in like 24 hours. And these people, they're just really, really good. So I'm super happy for you. I think that like updating your website with photos like that, they're professional, but they're you. That says so much about how you're going to care about future patients. And I can just see their conversions on the website going up already.
Oh, that's what the hope is. Yes.
That's great. Yeah, we have a doctor in California as well, more like San Francisco area. And he'll send, I don't know if he still does this, but our old account manager would say every single day he would send 3 photos to her and her phone. So their phone conversation was just picture like this Devon, this, first day in braces. And we had like we couldn't even use all the photos that he was sending, but it was so great to have that many options. And then that's the kind of stuff that just throw it up on social media, throw it up on Instagram, put it on Facebook. And that's what people want to see. They want to see the result and the vibe and the culture within your office.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm hoping.
Yes. Well, awesome, Lina. Thank you so much. If someone's on the fence about working with OrthoPatients, what would you tell them?
Don't be. Don't be. One of the things that I liked about it was that not only were you upfront honest, but also there was that guarantee, 90 days guarantee. And you're right, within my first 60 days, I started everything that you said was going to happen is exactly how it happened. The first month was a little bit slower as we're getting all the ads and everything together. Then it just started going more and more and more. So I can't wait to see what the next couple of months bring. Awesome.
Yeah. Summer's coming soon. It's going to be great. Everybody's up in summer, not because of us, but just because.
Well, and I'm in California, so we're hoping like a lot.
Yes. It's amazing. Well, it's so good to meet you, to have this conversation. I'm sure it's going to help tons of people out there. So if you have something different, you can share it. What's your number one piece of advice for other office managers? I know you mentioned the team thing. Is there anything else that you'd mention for somebody else in your position managing an orthodontic office.
I think that is the main advice, making sure that you have a team that knows that you're behind them.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're willing, and as a manager, you should be willing to get down and dirty if you need to, willing to wear as many hats as you can. So your staff sees that you're going to work hard, just as hard as they work.
Yes. Got it. I love that. How's it going, everybody? If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. This really helps us out, and it helps more orthodontists find content like this that can really help them in their practices. So it means a lot to us if you do that. With all of that said, if you're looking to grow your practice this year, please go to orthopatients.com, watch our free training, or just sign up for a call with a member of my team. And I promise it will be one of the most valuable things you do this year for your practice. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.